Hey everyone, thank you for watching. Today's video is going to be a new Will I Buy It. I post my Will I Buy It series every single Wednesday, chatting over new makeup releases, my thoughts on them, if I'm planning to pick them up or pass over them. I'll have my playlist linked down below if you want to catch more of my weekly videos. And I also did create the community playlist, which I will also link, so any creator who makes this style of new releases video can add theirs to the playlist if you want to catch up on more of these and see a bunch of different thoughts from a bunch of different creators. But we do have a lot to chat about this week, so why don't we go ahead and get started. Alrighty, so I've pretty much just always have now been kicking off these videos talking about Colourpop. I feel like we always got something about Colourpop to talk about, and even though I do hear a lot of people, obviously, and myself is one of them, that I talk about, like, Colourpop releases a lot, they release a lot, like, I do wish that they would slow down, and I do think that other people feel that same way. It's still what I get so requested to talk about. I get people messaging me on all different platforms asking me what I think about their new releases. I know a lot of people who make a lot of like Colourpop dedicated videos, and they do so well on their channels. So I don't know, it's just kind of one of those things where it's just kind of fun to like kick off the videos with it, because I know that's what so many people are curious about. So I actually do have multiple items to talk about from Colourpop this week. Not unusual, and I felt like the biggest one, the one that's definitely garnered the most attention and that I've gotten the most requests to talk about, of course, is their newest collaboration with Kathleenlights. So Colourpop and Kathleenlights have definitely teamed up a lot. I have purchased a lot of the collections and collaborations myself. Most recently I purchased 2 of the Zodiac blushes, and also what else have I purchased recently? The Zodiac eye pigments. I purchased 3 of those, 2 of the blushes. So Dream Street continues to be one of my favorite Colourpop palettes, and just like one of my palettes in general is the one that Kathleenlights did in collaboration with Colourpop. But now this one was a pretty interesting release because they're coming out with the first bigger palette for Colourpop. Colourpop is kind of well known for, especially, you know, their 9-pan monochromatic palettes, you know, some of their 12-pan palettes, but this one is their first Big Daddy palette, if you will. This is called the So Jaded eyeshadow palette. So it has 30 shades. Reading from the Trend One Instagram, I do always have her linked. It says a lot of cool icy shades, perfect for wintertime, some warm mattes, shimmery pressed glitters. It's going to be $35. It is also going to be a permanent item, which I did think was interesting. A lot of time collaborations tend to be limited edition. Not all the time, but a lot of times that's what we see. But this is going to be a permanent item. Okay, so I do have a lot of different thoughts on this palette. I have not purchased it yet. I'm filming this on Monday like I normally do my Will I Buy It videos. I believe it came out last week Friday. I went on the Colourpop website and I was looking at it. I watched Kathleen's video, swatching everything and talking about the eyeshadow palette. I am a big fan of Kathleenlights. I reference her in a lot of my videos. Like I said, I've purchased a lot of her different collaborations, not just with Colourpop, but when she's worked with other brands too. But she's definitely one. I mean, I recently did a video called Kathleenlights Made Me Buy It. I mean, I buy a lot of her recommendations. We have very similar skin types, which, you know, of course that helps too. But I'm a big fan of hers, and I'm also a big fan of Colourpop, so I personally don't mind when they collaborate together. I think that Colourpop is starting to, I mean, I feel like they branch out a little bit and collab with other people. There's some brands that just like continually only work with the same people, and I think Colourpop has done a pretty good job of either collaborating or even just allowing people to go to the headquarters to like film their different videos. Colourpop is very active on their YouTube channel too. They do a lot of like swatch parties when they're coming out with new products, and I've seen them bring in other I have a headache in my eyes, if you guys can notice it, so it's kind of hard, and like sitting in front of the lights I'm like, oh, what am I talking about? But they bring in different creators to do that, and I think that's awesome and everything. So I personally don't mind the collaboration aspect of it. So it is a bigger palette, and I have said that I am not really into bigger palettes these days. I tend to go for smaller palettes. That's why I was such a fan of the 9-pan monochromatic palettes. Like, I've decluttered the majority of my larger palettes. There's still a few that have stuck around, but I've decluttered a lot of them, and I've tried not to buy as many. So when I saw 30 shades, I was like, I don't know if I really want to get it because of that. Like, 30 shades is a lot. It is very pretty. Like, looking at the swatches again, I did watch Kathleen's video. It does look really pretty. I'm just trying to decide, do I really need it? I have been trying to stand firm on so many eyeshadow palettes because there's a lot coming out right now. I have a lot in my collection. I've been really trying to do a good job of not just purchasing just to purchase. And this one I'm just kind of going back and forth on. So I would really I would love to hear your comments. Again, I like Colourpop, I like Kathleenlights. I know I like the formula. Do I want their first bigger palette? Kind of, just because it's their first bigger palette. And all of that, and like $35 for the 30 shades, you know, not a bad price there. But I'm like, realistically, am I going to get a lot of use out of this, or am I going to continually reach for my smaller palettes? That's kind of where my holdup is. I like, there's like a really pretty purple in there. Some of those lighter tones, the ones that I would use more, those look really beautiful. There's a cool like yellow. The mattes look pretty. I'm kind of struggling with this one, going back and forth on it. Let me know what you think, but it is really pretty. I also did enjoy watching Kathleen's video when she was talking about, she had a dream a while ago that she created this So Jaded palette, and you know, like now it's come to life and everything. Well, the other night I had a dream that I was at a beach party, and you know, everyone's like in the water. There was probably like a few boats there. Maybe let's say, yeah, it's, you know, it's a dream, like let's like manifest it. And there was like people with water guns, but instead of it spraying out water, it sprayed out lip gloss. Just saying, I don't know if that's ever gonna come true. Like, is that gonna happen? Kathleen said she dreamed a palette. Did I dream a beach party where they squirt out lip gloss at you? I don't know, guys. I'm just saying that's the dream that I had. But I'd love to know. I've chatted with so many of you guys on this palette. The majority of you truly have said that you just went ahead and purchased it. Some of you are saying, you know, I don't like the larger palettes either, and you know, all of that. And then you're like, I just bought it anyway. So I don't know. I'm still trying to decide there. I've been doing such a good job on my eyeshadow palettes, but this might be one that gets me. Let me know your thoughts on that one from Kathleenlights and Colourpop. So some other new releases we had, these were kind of like collaborations, like favorite sets collaborations, if you will, with ThatGirlShaeXO, who I do watch. She is someone who does a lot of different Colourpop videos. I've done some live swatching videos on my channel, especially with Colourpop products, and those are always inspired by That Girl Shay. And you know, she's one who I've seen her say, you know, some people are like, you do too much Colourpop, and she's like, those continue to be my best videos. So I mean, like, it's just one of those things. And so I was so excited. I know that she's done something in the past too, where she came up with different single shadows for a kit, kind of like a build your own palette. And I was so excited because I think that she's so sweet. I really enjoy watching her videos, and I know how much she loves Colourpop. So when I saw that, I was so excited. So when I saw that she had another kind of like favorites set picked out, I thought that was amazing too. There's also one with MakeupbyJesi, who I'm not as familiar with, but she has another set out here too. And then one thing that I really thought was cute about the That Girl Shay set was that it's kind of like the theme of it is like wedding, and Shay is about to get married. I've been watching pictures from her bridal showers and her bachelorette party and things like that. So I thought that that was super sweet. The set is $50, and it has the Ultra Femme lip bundle. There's a Rose Romance foursome with Super Shock shadows and one Pigment Forever loose pigment kit. So I thought the names were just kind of cute too, like all kind of like wedding related. So I did wanted to say that also, and it looks like these are available now on the website, so I will also link them down below. You can buy the full kits, or you can buy the different little sets separately. Like the lip bundle is $18, the pigment set is $12, and so on. So I'll definitely link those down below. But congratulations to both ladies. I think that's a really big deal. I know that they were out you know, with Colourpop as well too, and I think that that's super cool. And you know, especially just seeing someone that I follow so closely get to do something like that, I thought that that was pretty amazing. The only thing that kind of bummed me out for them was, I'm pretty sure this was announced like on Wednesday, and then it was announced the very next day that Kathleen had a palette coming out, and then Kathleen's palette dropped Friday. I did feel like that was kind of close, just because I'm going to try to say this the most eloquent way that I can, but Kathleen has such a large following that I just hope that it didn't deter people who, you know, wanted to purchase Shay or Jesi's set, and then they were like, oh, but maybe I should wait, or, you know, something like that. I definitely felt like that one was just like super close, and we've been seeing that lately. You know, I talked about it with the Anastasia and the Jackie Aina, with the Norvina palette coming so close on the heels of the Jackie Aina palette. So I kind of felt like that way too, like especially when it comes to other collaborators, and they're just, you know, probably just so very excited. That was the only thing that I was like, oh man, that kind of, maybe is a bummer, but also maybe it's a good thing because maybe someone was interested in purchasing, you know, one of these, you know, favorite pieces sets, and then it was kind of more of an incentive because they also wanted to purchase the Kathleen palette. I don't know, you know, maybe you kind of spin it and like try to make a positive out of it. So maybe it was a good thing too. Maybe that was a good thing. Hopefully, I hope it all went well. But yeah, those are some new releases from Colourpop, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on them. Alrighty, so last week I was so bummed because I really wanted to talk about the 2 new Natasha palettes that were coming out, but we only had black and white photos of them, and I didn't even film last week until Tuesday, and I was really hoping they would be out, and they weren't. By the time that I filmed, I think it was like later on Tuesday night that the actual photos finally got released, so I wasn't able to include the actual photos in last week's video, but I wanted to touch on them here because Natasha Genoa is coming out with the mini gold palette. It says the extension to the gold palette includes 4 new shades and 1 existing shade. It's going to be $25 and a Sephora exclusive. Also coming out with the new gold glow shimmer duo, includes 2 gold highlighters, and this is going to be $42. I believe that they're both going to be limited edition because it says that they're for holiday, and it does say limited edition at the bottom of Trend Mood's post, so I'm thinking that they might both be limited edition. They're going to be available September 17th at Sephora. That green in the gold palette is really calling to me. I've been talking about how, for whatever reason, a very particular shade of green is kind of calling my attention, and this one just looks so cool. I really like that matte green. The gold looks beautiful. There's kind of more of like a, looks almost like a duochrome flip shade. There is a darker shade in the palette that I'm not sure I'd get a ton of use out of, but that's there. And then we have kind of like a beige matte, which would be nice to have. I'm trying to decide, am I just purchasing it for that green? Because, like, you know, if I cover it up, I'm like, I don't know for sure. But I have to say that this one definitely gave me a double take. It's $25, which is not super bad. I really enjoy my mini nude palette from Natasha Genoa. It's one of my most used palettes right now. So I'm trying to decide about this one. I don't know. I can't decide if I'm just buying it for that one shade. If I am, that just seems kind of silly. Am I going to get enough use out of like the palette as a whole? I feel like if that darker shade wasn't in there, like if that was just another lighter tone, I feel like I'd be more sold on it. But I just don't go for like super, like I'm just like very soft makeup today. And I feel like that's kind of what I'm feeling, but I don't know, man. That one's got me thinking for sure. And then the gold glow, I was really curious to get the inside of this too, because I have a mini blush and glow, I have the mini bronze and glow, and I really like those palettes. With this one though, I think that the gold shade is going to be too dark to wear on my skin, so I don't know, it would be pretty on the eyes. But I don't know if I should purchase it if I'm not going to be able to get enough uses out of that one. So I don't know about that one either. But I'm kind of eyeing both of these just because I like the mini palettes and I like the mini duos. But that one, again, I'm just not sure both shades are going to work really great on me. So I'm not sure that I should grab that one. But Natasha Jones is coming out with some new releases. They kind of caught my attention. So those are the new ones there. And then also last week I touched on the Juvias Place, what was it, Warrior 3 palette. They had also announced that they were coming out the Nomad palette, but we didn't have the inside of the palette yet. We now have the inside. I believe it is available now, and this is 9 shades for $15. I think like the Warrior palettes have been more like, I think they're $20. So this one is $15. This one is definitely looks a little bit more on like the neutral side than some of the other Juvias Place palettes. I feel like Juvias Place is very well known for their very colorful palettes, but every once in a while they'll kind of sneak in a little bit more on the neutral side, which I do appreciate because that is more of my makeup theme. But this looks like a very fall palette. We have an orange and a yellow. Again, we have a really beautiful green, which I was kind of eyeing right away. Some mattes and some shimmers. There's a bit of that darker shimmer in there too, but this one definitely calls my attention also. There's so many eyeshadow palettes coming out, and I'm trying so hard to say no to like the majority of them, but there's a few of them that really are catching my attention. The Juvias Place eyeshadow formula, from what I've tried, they're definitely more of like buildable eyeshadows, which I do like. I tend to prefer buildable shadows versus like overly pigmented shadows, just because like I'm not a master blender or anything, and I feel like that's what you get with the Juvias Place. So this one does look really, really pretty for fall. But I do also, I don't have it out here with me, but I have the Viseart Warm Neutral Matte Palette pulled into my Shop My Stash bag, and I feel like that's a very fall palette, and it has reds and browns and a little bit more of an orange shade in there. So I'm like, do I need another one? But then there's that pretty, I think it's a green. It kind of looks like a green gray in there. I don't know, but the Nomad palette definitely has my attention too from Juvias Place. It's just, I know that I don't need to go out and buy all of the eyeshadow palettes. And even like the last 2 weeks, there's been other ones like the Dominique Cosmetics palette. That one has my attention. That one's super pretty. Oh man, so many eyeshadow palettes. Speaking of another eyeshadow palette that's coming out, this is from BH Cosmetics. They're coming out with the Golden Twilight palette. This has 16 shades, transition from Sunrise to Twilight, and it's going to be $12. I think that's a great price. The packaging is really pretty on it. The shades inside do look really pretty. It looks like you have some more of like metallic shadows in here. I personally am not a huge lover of the BH formula, so I tend to skip over their palettes, but you know, great prices over there, and I think the quality is like decent. They're just not, it's just not a personal favorite of mine, but that's another new palette that's coming out from BH. And lest I forget, Natasha Genoa actually announced another palette that is coming out. This one is also for holidays. This is the Metropolis palette. This is one of the $129 palettes. It has 28 shades. It says 2 new formulas of Natasha Genoa's iconic professional quality pressed pigment eyeshadows in a never before seen midi size. Okay, but it's still $129. Okay, see, that's still really, that's just expensive, okay? Will be available September 10th on the line and September 17th in stores. So I'm not gonna grab this. Again, it is a larger palette, and for $129, I'm just like, neither of those things really excite me. It is pretty. There's a, you know, there's a cool green in there. There's also a fun pop of blue. There's some oranges, yellows, reds. Like, it does look pretty. Kind of the way that the layout is, kind of messes with my brain a little bit, since I don't have the most like artistically creative mind. Sometimes like I can look at something like this and be like, what am I supposed to be doing here? But really biggest thing is there's a lot of shades and it's $129, and I'm just not there. Like, I just did the like Am I Bougie makeup tag that went up on Monday. I can link it down below, and I feel like we learned from there that I'm not like, I'm not really super bougie. Like, I can't do that yet. Maybe one day, but not today. But are you interested in that one from Natasha Genoa? I think that's all from Natasha, but let's keep rolling. Another new eyeshadow palette that's coming out for holidays. This is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the part of the Pillowtalk collection. This is the Palette of Pops eyeshadow palette in Pillowtalk. It's going to be $53 and have 4 shades in it. I have one of these palettes from Charlotte Tilbury that I got sent over in PR, because I don't think, again, $53 for 4 shades, like, oh man, I paid $48 for 5 shades with the Natasha Genoa Coral palette, and $53 for 4, that's a lot. And a lot of these palettes that come out, I feel like look so similar to one another. So I have one, it's, I can't think of the name off the top of my head, the Luxury Pop of Palettes, or Palette of Pops, something along those lines. But I feel like a lot of them look very similar to one another, so I just don't feel like I would need it. And then she's also coming out the Lip Luster Gloss in Pillowtalk, which is $22. These are going to be available September 26th in store at Sephora and also Charlotte Tilbury Makeup. Again, there's just always so much Pillowtalk stuff going on that I feel like I've now just gotten confused. I wanted to buy Pillowtalk diamonds or something, and I thought I saw it in the Sephora store, so I bought it, but turns out it was just regular Pillowtalk Superstar Lips. I don't know, there's just always so much going on that, like, as a consumer, I myself am starting to get confused as to what's happening here, and I'm buying the wrong products because I think that it's something else because they all have this Pillowtalk name attached to it. There's just a lot going on. So even though I did dream about lip gloss the other night, I think I'm going to go ahead and pass over this newest one too. So last week I touched on that Bobbi Brown was coming out with a new eyeshadow palette for holidays, but they're also coming out with a new highlighter. All I see is that it'll be available October, November. There's a photo of it and it looks really beautiful. Like, packaging looks beautiful. The actual highlight and like the texture on it, like, that looks really cool. I did have a couple people recommend Bobbi Brown highlighters in my ranking highlight video that went up over the weekend. So if you like all these like ranking videos that are coming out, I just ranked all of my highlighters, 24 of them, from like least favorite to my top favorite. So if you want to check that out, I will also link it down below. But I did have several people in there refer recommend, I was gonna say request, refer, recommend the Bobbi Brown highlight to me. I think I'm pretty good on my highlights right now, and again, slightly considering the Natasha Genoa duo, I'm not for sure. I'm sure that this one's gonna be a little bit more expensive and probably limited edition for the holiday, so I'm gonna pass over that one. So we know that Urban Decay is coming out with the Naked Honey palette. I actually did receive this in PR over the weekend, and I will say, when I opened it, I thought it was a lot more different than I was seeing in the promo photos. In the promo photos, it to me looked like a slight variation of browns and then one gold in the middle. That's how I took the promo photos, and I was like, I don't even get it. You know, I mentioned it in a Will I Buy It video that I was just like, I'm just not very excited about this one because it just looks like, and I love browns. Like, I love browns, I love neutrals, I love brown smoky guys, like, and all of that. But I just felt super uninspired looking at that palette, thinking it was a bunch of different browns and then one yellow. When I actually opened it up, it looks a lot different. I'll grab it. I post a photo of it on my Instagram too, but I don't know, even if you can see, like, holding it up, there's more of a variation than I thought it was going to be. Like, even this shade I thought was brown. Like, I mean, I thought like everything was just like straight brown. These in the middle here are much more of like the kind of like the dirty gold, I would say. And then there's more like some like mustard colors over here. I thought it was a lot different than I thought it was going to be. I haven't played with it yet. I just received it over the weekend, and then we went out of town to celebrate our wedding anniversary. Was last Saturday, so my husband and I went to Omaha for a night, and I got the palette like as we were packing our bags to like walk out the door, and I was like, I just need to take a picture of it. So I want to use it in my next trying new makeup video and see, you know, what I can come up with the palette. But just a first glance looking at it, I felt like it was different than I was seeing in the promo photos, which I'm happy about. Like, not saying that I like the palette yet because I haven't even swatched it, but I was just glad to see that it looked a little bit more different than I was expecting. So we know that they're coming out with that, but they're actually coming out with a whole collection, and there's a lot of different products, and a lot of these are also part of the holiday collection too. So Urban Decay definitely is one of those brands that puts out a lot of different sets around holiday time, and they can make really great gifts and such. I will say that. But they have a lot coming out here. So there's the honey pot set for $59. You get their primer potion, you get a 24/7 glide on pencil, a travel side honey scented all-nighter spray, a mini honey eyeshadow palette, which that I think is pretty intriguing. There's also a setting spray duo for $42. They have like some ornament type, like, they have, I mean, literally the list like goes on and on and on. Like, they have a lot coming out, and a lot holiday wise, a lot in the sets. I think that mini honey palette is interesting. There's 6 different shades. Like, kind of reminds me of like the mini heat, what they did with that. So maybe if you're someone who didn't want like the larger honey palette and these shades and the mini intrigue you, I don't know if that's going to be available on its own, or if you do have to buy it in that set, which again might not make it the best, you know, choice for you. But they have a lot going on. If you're thinking of gift ideas or anything like that, like, they definitely got it going on right now for holiday. So wanted to mention the collection. I've seen a lot of this on the Ulta new page. It just says coming soon. So I believe it's going to be available September 22nd, but a lot of it's already on the Ulta page. So I'll try to link that if you want to check out anything a little bit closer and see what you're thinking. But those are some new releases from Urban Decay. And then some new lip products. I saw that Sigma Beauty is coming out with 6 new liquid lipstick shades. So Sigma Beauty has released liquid lipsticks in the past. They're coming out with these new shades, and they're going to be available on September 17th. I did get a package from Sigma as well right over the weekend as we were leaving, which has the different liquid lipsticks in there. So I'll be excited to swatch them and see what I think. They have some lighter nudes, and then they have some deeper reds in there too. I do like the Sigma Beauty liquid lipstick formula. It's not a favorite of mine though, and I really tend to like the ones that I've kept have been the ones that I feel like the shades are a little bit more unique. Like Foxglove, is it Foxglove? Is one that I've kept because it's like a really cool bright kind of like pink berry color, and I just don't have a lot of that. So I like to keep it around for the shade, but I can't say it's like my absolute #1 liquid lipstick formula. But Sigma is coming out with some new liquid lips, and then This intrigued me. Fenty Beauty is coming out with a new mini gloss bomb set for the holidays. This is called the Glossy Posse set, and there are new shades. It's going to be there's a few new shades. It's going to be $42 because I see Fussy is one of the shades, which I do have. And then Pretty Please, Confetti, Hot Chocolate, and Cheeky will be available October 11th. Kind of interested in this. I really do like the Fenty glosses. I have Diamond Milk in my current Shop My Stash bag, and I just think that it's beautiful. I wore it over the weekend when we were out for our anniversary. I think it's really pretty. I have Fussy too, and I really like it. The only one that I didn't love was the original. I just didn't like the color on me, but some of these shades, like I'm trying to decide looking at the set if there's going to be enough that I would wear a ton. I don't know, looking at the close-ups and the swatches, if there is going to be enough. That middle shade also kind of reminds me of Diamond Milk, but I didn't see that that's what was in here. They said Fussy was a repeat, but there's kind of more of like a brighter pink and then kind of like a red and then like a darker brown in there. I don't know. Kind of considering this, and you know, $42, maybe could grab like keep like, you know, 2 or something for myself and maybe gift some. I don't know, man, but that looks pretty interesting to me too. There's definitely so many holiday releases going on. Trendmood also posted a photo of just like a bunch of different holiday releases, and I was looking at that and trying to decide like how do I cover that for this video. I wondered, I've done this in the past where I've done a Will I Buy It video just focused on holiday, and I don't do it in place of my regular Will I Buy It because there's always so much new makeup going on, but I do just kind of like a special episode of a Will I Buy It, and I post it on a different day and talk about all of the different holiday releases and holiday sets that are coming out. Would you guys want to see that video? Would you want me to just try to incorporate it as best as I can? But like truly, I mean, there's like a huge list. Like these videos already get pretty long, so that's why I was thinking of doing it separately and letting you guys know, not even like will I buy it, but like do I think it's a good value, would I, you know, recommend it, or that sort of thing. Let me know if you would want to see that, because there's a lot. There's a lot of holiday sets, you know what I'm saying? Just like special sets for the holidays that are coming out. So let me know if you'd like to see that separate video, or if you just want to see it in one. I would love to know. I thought this was interesting that Hilary Duff is doing a collaboration with Nude Sticks, and it also says that Hilary invested in the brand earlier this year initially as a business, and then she fell in love with the brand's products, so they decided to create this collab. So it includes a blush, a highlighter, some eye colors, and a lip and cheek balm. It's on pre-sale now and will be available September 10th. I think that this is very timely with Hilary Duff announcing that Lizzie McGuire is going to do a reboot. I know a lot of people are really excited about that. I was a huge Lizzie McGuire fan, not gonna lie. I love that show. And so I got excited when I saw that the reboot was coming, but I think like timing wise, like a lot of like she's kind of like back in the spotlight and you know all of that. So I think timing wise, like it makes sense. I don't know if there's a lot of products in here that I feel like I need. And Nude Sticks, I've tried a couple things from Nude Sticks, but I'm not super loyal to the brand, or I don't feel like I have a favorite product with them. The lip and cheek balm, I probably wouldn't use a product like that, and like the eye crayons aren't something that, you know, super attract me. But a new collaboration. Are you guys excited for the Lizzie McGuire reboot? So I know a lot of people have been saying to me, like whenever we talk about holiday makeup, they're like, what about Halloween? Like why don't the makeup brands come out with something for Halloween? What's like, is Halloween just getting skipped? And I saw that Makeup Revolution is coming out with the Halloween collection, so if that's been you know, here's some products here. We have the Possessed glitter palette for $12, a Halloween skull highlighter for $6. There's some like white base liquid face paint. There's fake blood, liquid latex. I personally am not someone who does Halloween looks. I'm not, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not super artistically creative, and like special effects, SFX, is that what SFX? Just not really like my style. I like to watch other people do it, and I think it's really fascinating to see the transformations. Like I get excited to watch Halloween videos, but I truly don't really have an urge to film them for myself. It's just not really like my type of vibe. I like watching them, so I don't need anything from this collection myself personally, but for those of you who've been like, where's the Halloween, like there's some Halloween for you. some more holiday sets that are coming. Sephora has a bunch of different favorites collections coming out. These also can make great gift ideas, or if you want to go in with people on them. I used to buy them just myself all the time. The lips, the lashes, I've bought skincare, I've bought hair care favorite sets. Like I really like them. There's a Superstar set for $48. There's the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel, a Benefit Mascara, the Bite Beauty Lip Balm. Fenty has a little set in there also. Laura Mercier, the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer, NARS Too Faced Urban Decay Setting Spray. There's going to be a new lash sash for $48 with Benefit. Huda Beauty is going to have some lashes in there. And then mascaras from IT Cosmetics, Marc Jacobs, Milk, NARS, Pat McGrath, the Sephora Collection Mascara, Tarte Mascara, Too Faced Damn Girl, YSL. That set looks to be really, really nice. Again, that's a lot of different mascaras. Maybe you don't need them all at one time, but that's a lot of good mascaras in there. There's also the Iconic Hair for $40. We have products from Amika, Briogeo, Bumble and Bumble, Christoph Robinson, Diva Curl, Dry Bar, IGK, Living Proof. There's, I mean, lots of good stuff in there too. And then the Give Me More Lips for $42. This has me intrigued because the Charlotte Tilbury Matte Revolution in Varia Victoria is a full size in there. A lot of people have recommended that particular shade to me, saying that they think that I would like it. I really like the Matte Revolution formula. I have Pillow Talk in that one. So when I saw that, I was like, wait, what? Who? Ooh. Because that one on its own is 30 some dollars, and this whole set is 42. Also in there you get a mini Fenty matte lipstick. Also a Sephora collection. Too Faced has a Peach Kiss lipstick in Sex on the Peach, which I already own, which is kind of a bummer. Fresh has a lip treatment in there. Laneige has their lip sleeping mask, and Milk has their Kush lip balm. I don't know if there's enough other products in there to really excite me. You know, I could always gift some of these or put them into giveaways, but I do like the Laneige lip sleeping mask in there because I have a full size and minis of those. Like when I went traveling, I had my mini in there. I have a full size. So, I mean, it wouldn't be bad to have a backup, but I don't know. Obviously, I don't need to just buy the set for the lipstick because it'd be cheaper just to purchase the lipstick, but I don't know, kind of eyeing that one too. And that one's going to be available September 10th, except for the hair set will be available September 12th. We've gotten a sneak peek of what Hourglass is coming out for holidays. There's a lipstick duo, there's the Ghost Face Palette, also the Scattered Light Eyeshadow Trio, and the Blush Quad. I actually do have one of these Scattered Lights on my eyes today. I believe it's in Reflect. I pulled it into my Shop My Stash bag. I personally don't really love these. I put them into my Shop My Stash to try to see if I want to declutter it at the end of September, and while I think that they're fine and like they're pretty, I just don't feel like they're like super unique or special, especially for the price tag. But there is a trio coming out. I don't totally love a lot of the Hourglass face products. I do like the bronzers, but like the finishing powders, I know so many people love them. I just don't. Maybe one day I will, but as of right now, I just don't totally love them. And I have a face palette already in my collection, so I would pass over that. The blush palette does look really pretty. Like if you love the Hourglass blushes, that little foursome could be great. But again, their blushes, at least for the shades that I have, maybe I just don't have the shades that work the best for me, but again, they just don't excite me a ton, so I would probably be skipping over those from Hourglass. And then Laura Mercier has a bunch of holiday sets too. They have an eyeshadow palette for $42. They have their translucent loose setting powder glow set, which is $45. Again, they have a lot in here. They have lip stuff. They have a brush set. So they have a lot going on, and it is available now at Macy's. The Paint with Light Radiant Face Illuminator Trio is $52. That looked interesting. Like that got my attention out of everything, but I'm like, do I really need this? Probably not. The packaging doesn't get me like super stoked on a lot of it, and I don't know, not a lot really screamed a lot of like holiday to me, but I think that I'd probably pass over everything from here. Laura Mercier is a little bit higher priced. There's definitely products that I really enjoy from Laura Mercier, but for this little holiday release that got announced, I just didn't see anything that called my attention a ton. And of course, I I was pretty offline this weekend, just trying to like enjoy myself and all of that. So when I got home and I hopped on Twitter and, you know, was kind of going through my messages, I saw that there was like a drama in the makeup world, and that was that Wet n Wild announced that they're coming out with a new eyeshadow palette. This is a 40 pan eyeshadow palette. It was available at the DragCon NYC festival, and it's going to be available for fall at Wet n Wild. It does look extremely similar to the James Charles and Morphe palette that came out, kind of like the layout and how the different shades are arranged. I know the James Charles palette had like the middle row were all kind of bigger. I don't see that with this palette. Personally, I don't love like straight up dupes. Like Makeup Revolution was really known for doing that. Like they duped, like one of the first times I heard of Makeup Revolution was when they duped the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, and they called it like the Light and Shade palette. Like that, I don't love when it's like exact copying, and I know a lot of brands, like there almost seems to be like more popping up, and it's kind of like that fine line, because it's like, yeah, you like something to be more affordable because not everyone can, you know, or even will want to pay a higher price for something. So if you can get something similar, you know, similar quality or similar shades or whatnot for a lesser price, a lot of people will like that, and I get that. I just don't like when it's like exact copying. I haven't seen the full palette yet. Like I don't know what the outside of it looks like. We've just like, there was just like a blurry photo of the inside of the photo, at least at the time I'm filming. That's all that I have seen. But I was on Twitter, and like a couple people either like liked or retweeted tweets, and I know that James Charles was very upset about it, and Wet n Wild had a few tweets that I wasn't like a super big fan of. Like it almost seemed like they were just trying to like engage in it, and that's not a lot of fun to see. You guys know me, like I tend to like try to stay out of that kind of stuff. It's just kind of makes me uncomfortable. I'm gonna guess that I don't think Wet n Wild did anything illegal with this. I mean, again, I'm thinking Makeup Revolution, when they were duping like Kat Von D and Too Faced, I mean, it truly was like the exact same palette. And even with the Kat Von D Shade and Light and Shade palette, I mean, like what? I don't think it's illegal, if you will, and probably Wet n Wild double checked everything to make sure they weren't, since they're a pretty big company. I have a feeling they probably looked at all of that. And I forget, I don't know if they announced the price, but the tweet that I saw from Wet n Wild is it said we didn't copy the price, is what they said there, which that I was just kind of like, like I just want to be like, don't engage with it, like just let your product either sell or, you know, do its thing or whatever. But I don't know if you guys want to leave your information, I'm telling you guys, this headache. If you want to leave your thoughts on the situation down below, you totally can. I always say, like, let's just try to keep it kind in the comments. I didn't purchase the Morphe and James Charles palette. I won't be purchasing the Wet n Wild palette. I've had a couple people ask like my thoughts on the situation, and for me, I'm just kind of like, like it just doesn't like super impress me. Like I can't say I'm like personally like really bothered by it and I like want to make all these videos on it. I'm just kind of like kind of leaves me like a weird taste in my mouth, and like different things that I see online and like the fighting and the bickering, it just kind of makes me sad is all. But regardless, I won't be purchasing that palette. Didn't purchase the James Charles palette, and I will keep on keeping on. So that is my little thoughts on that situation and that new release from Wet n Wild. But other than that, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. I know this is another long one. Let me know your thoughts on those holiday releases. If you'd want to see a separate video, I of course would love to know, and let me know your thoughts on the products that we talked about today. And other than that, if you guys did enjoy today's video, I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up. I hope that you'll also consider subscribing before you go, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.